Got a really weird special deck to start off with today. Um, I've been trying to build a deck like this since Modern Horizons 3. Um, I've had a lot of different like starting drafts, a lot of different directions, but I've wanted to build a Landfall deck. And I think that this combination of like Springheart Nantuko, copy something, keep playing lands, copying the thing. It was just very intriguing to me. And for a lot of these builds, Emerald Medallion was a really big part of it, and there was even like Manamorphoses and like some like small storm loops. I had a very hard time with it, and the deck has certainly gained a lot more form since these like way more weird abstract builds. But I did abandon this idea after just really getting very stuck on it for a while. It just was worse than other stuff, and it had no clear like top end game plan, and it was lacking a lot of consistency and maybe some power too. Then they made Green Sun Zenith, and Green Sun Zenith gets all of your pieces. And last night, I also figured out kind of a breakthrough on how to actually combo with this deck, which is I don't know. Maybe I should have realized it sooner. It's like a little convoluted, but the general idea here is that you are trying to ramp and get a Risen Reef in play. To get Risen Reef in play, you can cast a Risen Reef. You can Green Sun Zenith for one. You can Nissa trigger search for one. You could Rumble and dig for Nissa or Risen Reef. So you're pretty good at doing that. And you're pretty good at doing that quickly because you have both Grazer and Green Sun Zenith as turn one rep spells. Sometimes you can go Grazer plus Flare. It's really awesome too that with Flare in your deck, you don't need to play more than 4 actual Grazers because you could also just Green Sun for Grazer. Sometimes Green Sun for Dryad Arbor just to like get it out of your hand. That's card parity, but like Green Sun for Arbor or Grazer to Flare makes you not have to play a ton of creatures for Flare, which is really awesome too. So that's kind of step one, is you want to get Risen Reef in play, and you kind of want to get as many as you can. Like you can get more copies with more copies of Nissa triggers. You can Green Sun for more copies, and you can also Springheart Nantuko your Risen Reef. And this is like one way you can really go crazy in this deck. When you Springheart Nantuko or Risen Reef, you get to copy it, then your copies make more lands, which make you get more copies of Risen Reef, and you get to really pop off. And this was a big part of the direction of other decks, and it is still here. It is still here. But the idea is to draw a bunch of cards doing that, and you actually win the game by assembling Sylvan Safekeeper plus Titania. And so the idea is that when you have Sylvan Safekeeper plus Titania plus Reef plus Nissa or plus Lotus Cobra, you get to, every time you sack a land, you're either putting a card into your hand or you're putting a land into play. And when you put a land into play, that makes a mana, and then it also makes a 5/3, and then that 5/3 triggers your Risen Reefs, however many you have. Even one is like enough to combo most of the time, and then like you're putting more lands into play to sack to your Sylvan Safekeepers, and so you're able to just effectively churn through your entire deck when you assemble all these pieces, and it is a lot of pieces, and typically like 3-4 card combos are not cool. However, they are cool when your whole deck is all just, you have an insane degree of card draw and card selection, and where you only have to play one Titania and one Sylvan Safekeeper and one Craterhoof. And even like Safekeeper, I even kind of want to play more Safekeepers because this card is just good to draw, it seems. So this is still an early draft, maybe right to play this. We also have a Lotus Cobra too, so like if you need more mana generation, you can Green Sun for it as part of your curve. But you are just going to be able to draw most of your deck in either Green Sun for Craterhoof Behemoth or cast Craterhoof Behemoth, which is awesome. I had as early as a turn 3 win yesterday in goldfishing, but I've been winning. I've been just killing uncontested on turn 4 pretty often, which is very important for a deck like this to be able to do, to be competitive in Modern, just like goldfishing turn 4 kills. Now there are still a few flex spots. This is still an early draft. I think the first Emerald Medallion is good to play. I think that it just is going to make enough mana to be a good card in the deck. I think it might end up being correct to cut it for like second Lotus Cobra, second Sylvan Safekeeper, second Titania. Not sure, but at the moment I'm feeling kind of content about it. I had a Fungus in the main deck for a little bit because it's like it's okay to draw. You just cycle it, put a land into play. Decided to sideboard it instead. This deck is it is definitely kind of reminiscent of Nadu. Built around a Simic 3-drop, and then Springheart Nantuko, Sylvan Safekeeper. Imagine Nadu if Green Sun Zenith was legal, huh? Obviously, this deck is not going to be as powerful as Nadu, but it's been pretty solid. Finale of Devastation instead of Craterhoof. It's an interesting thought. I don't love that you have to cast that and you have to cast it X equals. It's a lot more. It's more mana. It's like 2 or 3, 4. What? 12 mana versus 9 or 8. Yeah. I could put some background audio on. Okay, well, get to test our Chord of Calling. You will live. Dryad Arbor, you're going to live. Even if it doesn't, we do have, a lot of lands in the deck. Oh, you trash 1v1, Spike Trash. I'm confused. Good morning to you. Okay, they reveal Devourer, so Kozilek's command can exile Dryad Arbor on turn 1 and draw a card. I think against the Devourer, we can just get a breeding pool. They said no to an Eldrazi Temple and no to a Kozilek's command. So I guess they're just aggroing Tron out here. Don't have a lot of Tron hate. Or really any Tron hate. We're just trying to we could maybe Collector Ouphe them. So we obviously have some options here. I'm going to take a fetch land. So I can play Springheart Nantuko, which would make this Chord of Calling better. And then I have to really rely on drawing a land. I can also not fetch at all, and then any land lets me Nissa. And I could also Surveil. I think I'm going to cast the Nantuko and just be a little bit more proactive, a little bit more mana efficient. And this would maybe be better if the Dryad Arbor was still in the deck, and we could Chord for the Arbor. We got a lot of lands in the deck. Well, let's hope we don't get Tron too bad. Why not bestow on Dryad Arbor? That's one less creature, but I guess copying Dryad Arbor sounds actually kind of sick, and I haven't really been thinking about that line that often. So let's see if they just devour the Nissa. Okay, they do devour the Nissa. Good backup Nissa. A fetch land puts us right in there for sure. They're thinking about going after something else, which is kind of crazy. They go after my Dryad Arbor. Okay. I didn't reveal this. I would have sacked the Dryad Arbor to the Flare. I guess now we go. I want the Nantuko in play for the Chord of Calling, so we'll go Grazer, nothing into play. But then this will give me 2 landfall triggers, which will trigger the Nissa, trigger the Nantuko. Winning this turn is possible, but not super unlikely, and probably not possible if we don't hit Risen Reef off this Nissa here. Hit the Risen Reef off the Nissa. So I could Chord for a Risen Reef. I think let's do that. Because then if I find a land, or I guess maybe it'd have to be 2 lands, we could Green Sun for Safekeeper to protect against the second Devourer. So now the Endurance. Gotta stack the Evoke to trigger last, or before the shuffle. Could let me hit that land to Chord for the Safekeeper. Although if I Chord for Safekeeper, I do kind of need to top deck something. We have a lot of very good top decks. I'm just going to cast the Cobra instead now. And before we get dusted. I mean, that would be bad, I think, by my expert opinion. Chord. Yeah, we added 1 chord. Look very good there. Could certainly see playing more copies. Let me go ahead and update the Mux. We got the Emerald Medallion for it. Medallion was good. Just because the card's good doesn't mean you need to play it. There's just always going to be something that's more optimal. Or there's sometimes be something that's more optimal. Fetchland is a win? Probably, yeah. My opponent casts a Karn. Then they play an Ugin's Labyrinth, imprinting another Devourer. We get Sky Sovereign? We don't really care about Curse Totem at all. Walking Ballista. To kill both of my Reefs? Orb? Maybe Orb. Orb would be good. No, the Nantuko token's an insect. It's not an elemental. Could you imagine? If I draw a fetch, I could just get Craterhoof, I think. Nice. We're playing Cube today! We're playing Cube today. Shout out Thassa's Oracle. Bull move not sniping the Cobra. I think it was fine. Yeah, this is we're actually just playing Cube. I think I would have maybe defaulted just kill the Risen Reefs also, especially because I already saw a Chord of Calling. Green Sun Zenith for 8. Welcome to Modern. Let's go. Welcome to Modern. Let's go, dude. All right, we do have the consigns. We do have the Tron hate. Against Eldrazi Tron, seems okay. Interesting draw. I'm gonna click the keep button. I'm not sure exactly how I'm sequencing this. Turn 1, Urz is mine. Okay, seems like I want to get Dryad Arbor turn 1. And then play Nissa, and then potentially go hold up untapped breeding pool after triggering the Nissa on turn 3. Then maybe they have Dismember, and I'm not sure how we're going to sequence this after that. Chalice? Don't really care that much about the Chalice at 1. If they have Natural Tron, I think it's going to be tough to beat. I think instead I should probably surveil this turn, so I could go hold up Consign the following turn, and then go Nissa plus fetch land. Maybe Nissa plus Risen Reef. They don't have Tron, but they do have an Eldrazi Temple here. Into a Mind Stone. Thanks, Method. Yeah, this deck, it took me 6 months to build. I've been working on it that long. Obviously, Green Sun being unbanned and me figuring out this Safekeeper loop. Those are the two big breakthroughs. I've talked about this a bunch, this deck, actually. Remember that you can replicate Consign through the Chalice. It's actually why it has Replicate. So they have 1 card left after this. Feels nice for Nissa to feel good again. That's a card that I've always liked a lot. Sometimes this happens. It's okay. Two cards in their hand. Hopefully this is not Kozilek's command. Going well, Mira. How are you doing? Okay, Fleshraker with only 1 card in hand. Interesting draw. So I find Titania. I'm probably just going to Green Sun for Safekeeper. I did find Titanium. Did you play your Jessica Looting deck for a second time? I played it in a league and I played it in a challenge. And we played a twin build. That was kind of interesting, I think, during the 24-hour stream. All right, no all is dust, please. I appreciate all the brewing you're doing. I can't keep all new decks. Have I played something similar to this yet? All right, as a first-time chatter, I'll take a look. But usually get to. This is not an invitation for everybody to pelt me with deck lists. We've played the Hollow One builds of this deck, which I think is just going to be a lot better than like Imri Asmo. Imri doesn't look very good here. You have. Maybe it's okay. Tough for the last card to be a Kozilek's Command. Although they need to find all his Duster Karn. Otherwise they're gonna die, I think. Although maybe they'll just have enough blockers. It looks fun. If you make the box taller, you won't be forced to scroll down to make green mana every time. Okay. They put one card on top, one card on the bottom. They played Urza's Tower. That's Tron. Maybe that was the card they kept on top. They can sack the Mind Stones a bit easier. One Mind Stone down. Two Mind Stones down. 3 cards in hand after that. Passing the turn. Let's make some 5/3s. But it says only lands. GG. GG to you two. On the scoreboard. So we're going to play in a new matchup. Let's give this one a go. Again, I kind of want to play more Safekeepers, but we also like have all the tutors. So I don't know, it's kind of tough. But I've been pretty happy to just draw the card. Reef is the balanced version of Nadu. Yeah, it's the last busted Simic 3-drop. Busted maybe in quotation marks. That's to avenge Oko Nadu. Another Ugin's Labyrinth deck. I'm printing Emrakul the Promised End this time. So I think I actually sacked the Nantuko to Flare, because this lets me go Nissa Fetchland next turn, and Nissa plus Fetchland lets me potentially also cast Risen Reef, and if I cast Risen Reef, then I can bestow Springheart Nantuko on Risen Reef, and then that would let me win the game. So let's try to do that. Yeah, Spark, I opened your deck on stream already. I haven't played something like that. It looks pretty cool though. I did open it already. Get ready to rumble. Milling over K Command, E Temple, Ugin's Lab, and a Sprawl. Probably will take one of these two. Chooses the E Temple. Come on, Nissa! I need a Risen Reef! Let's go gambling. So in this deck, you actually pay the Nantuko thing. Yeah, a big part of it is putting it on a Risen Reef and making a bunch of copies of Risen Reef. Let's go! So we probably win next turn. Yeah, it could be... Let's see, do they have all his dust mana? They're one short of all his dust mana next turn. I guess we attack with the Safekeeper. What is my favorite legacy reprint from Modern Horizon sets? It's a good question. Maybe Counterspell. That's the easy answer, I guess. I have to think about it some more. Bestow on Dryad plus 2 landfalls is infinite. Oh, plus Nissa plus Lotus Cobra, yeah. Sweep the legs with the 6-month resub. Thank you so much. Is there chance there's room for an Eternal Witness? We have Endurance as a way to like get stuff back from the graveyard or like loop stuff. Do you think Modern could handle City of Traders? Could it handle it? I maybe, but would it be a good print of the Modern? Definitely not. So what's the combo again? So when you have Safekeeper, Nissa, Risen Reef, Titania in play, you like get to sack your lands, put an elemental into play, which triggers the Reef, which puts more lands in play, which makes more mana, which eventually lets you Craterhoof Behemoth. And obviously, this is a lot of cards. It's kind of similar to Yawgmoth in the sense that you're allowed to play like a 4-card combo because your whole deck is just drawing cards and putting lands into play. That makes sense. Yeah, it's not the worst pickup. Still need a little help. Because I don't really want to sack any of these to okay, so this will give me a Nissa. Guess I'm just gonna go ahead and make another Reef. I could sack this Reef too. That might be okay. Okay, 4 more triggers. So we're kind of hoping that we hit the Titania off the oh sorry, we hit Risen Reef already. Hmm. Am I doing donut decks today? I think no. This deck is like kind of too complicated for me to take a break and do donut decks, but or we never do donut decks anymore. Just channel point decks. But maybe one day I will do those again. So this lets me Grazer plus Flare, which is kind of fun. Should probably make another Reef if I get the opportunity. Could be good to Grazer plus Flare first. I would have to miss on like 6 looks here. It could happen, so. Although I forgot I had the endurance already. Don't think it's that big a deal. We'll just, we Grazer first, and then we can flare the Grazer for an extra landfall trigger. Why did I move away from donor deck list? Well, I'm trying to do a stream about me sharing my deck ideas and not try to give one person a lot of individual attention. And I've got, like 1,000 people to entertain. And I think the stream quality is way better moving away from dono decks and dono deck lists. And I make less money, but the stream is better. And I just care about the stream being as good as possible. So I think I want to maybe just be able to like find a green Sun Zenith for Titania, but Reeve Bricks are going to go ahead and make another Risen Reef. Any shot to get Essence Flux in here? I don't really understand why you'd want to play Essence Flux, honestly. Or to reset Nissa for multiple triggers a turn. Yeah, it just seems not where you want to be, probably. There's our Titania. Is this combo whiffable? Yeah. But we... Okay, so now, yeah, that second Flare should... Okay, I have 10 basics in my deck. This is 8 of them. So I guess what I need to do is... I need to get some of them back in the deck with the Endurance now. Just the basics for now, I think, is fine. You got a whole priority there because once it has Shroud, you can't like unshroud. Flare is up. Okay, I can't read this right now. Sorry. Too much going on. Like I said, turn 4 Goldfish, pretty consistent, which is like kind of the threshold you need to clear for a deck like this to be a consideration. Could also find the Chord of Calling and like Chord for just Chord for Craterhoof, kind of easy. Yeah, the Chord of Calling suggestion was good. I could definitely see myself winning a second copy. Although we've just drawn the hoof. So now it should be relatively easy to let's Shroud. Goodbye. We didn't actually love you, Arboreal Grazer. You thought we were going to give you Shroud and not expect you to pay with your life. So, like, what you really want to do to like do the loop, right, is play Titania, then sack your lands and get elementals and go crazy. Seems like we have enough resources to avoid that and kill a little bit faster. All right, all the other shrouds get countered, right, by state-based actions. This deck is kind of like playing a cool storm list in the sense that you have lots of different ways to get there, and you like figuring it out is a big part of the fun. Not that everyone considers decks like this to be fun. I do. Rep Poison, 60 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yes, yeah, Naughty wasn't the problem. It was Springheart Nantuko the whole time. Nice. This is my version of Vanifar. It has to be as complicated as possible in a deck that no one has built. That's the only way I'll ever play a deck. All right, this is how we sideboarded last time in MD1, so let's run it back. Yeah, or was it Sylvan Safekeeper? Yeah, we were back. All right, a nice looking hand. I'm going to click the keep button. Dryad Arbor loves to be drawn by me. Dryad Arbor loves me so much. Could we play more Lotus Cobras to bestow Nantuko onto over Nissa? Or is Nissa's Elemental Finder too important? Nissa's Elemental Finder is incredibly important for sure. I really don't want to get this killed, so I'm going to just play that Grazer here. Yeah, the searching up elementals is like insanely important. Also, like, you just don't need it. Like, I think if you saw last game, it's like we don't need a that is the direction I was going with for like the very early builds of the stack, where I'm like, but like that with Emerald Medallion and then Tuco, like those were some of my first drafts, like right when MH3 came out. But this build doesn't need to stoop to such depths. I'm not even sure we need to play the Lotus Cobra. I think it's okay to play as a one of. One top, one bottom. Have you seen the Landfall cat that's going crazy in Legacy from Nadu? From Jumpstart, it's going for like 20. I have no idea what you're talking about. If it's not modern legal, I don't know it that well, probably. Well, I'm gonna hold up the Consign, and then maybe next year we go Green Sun for Nissa and start finding some Risen Reefs off of it. Oh, Scythe Cat Cub. Yeah, that card's not modern legal. It totally should be. I might play it in this deck. I don't know. I'm not playing Bill either. I had Bill in a lot of drafts of this deck too. This deck took so long. It was crazy. Hey.
Hi.
What's up?
Just nothing.
Okay.
How do you like your pajamas?
They're very warm and cozy. Myco Spawn, Devour, Nulldrifter Temple. They're floating a blue. Bill has been in Legacy for the most part because you can protect it with Caracas. That makes sense. You know they almost printed Caracas into Modern. Isn't that crazy? Athena? Yeah. I let her outside twice this morning, but I think both before. Yeah, not while I'm streaming. No. Do you want to turn on the ring light? Well, they didn't even have to sack any spawns. Dude, they're playing a Ghost Quarter. That's so cool.
Mode good, or you want?
This any like a little less bright. Wait, go back.
Yeah,
Right there.
this one.
Go like less bright. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. All right, one card in their hand over there. They do have this Emrakul. So maybe I'm gonna cast the Endurance to stop the Emrakul. I can cast it off after Nissa, of course. So the Emrakul costs 8 mana, so they can just put it into their hand and cast it. I did find a Reef. Losing the Endurance isn't the biggest deal. So they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so let's just Endurance them. Hello, Darna. Good morning. Imagine a universe where we could Uro bounce Karakas your own Uro. I mean, that universe is Legacy, I guess. But yeah, it could have been a Modern too. So one of their 2 cards in hand is another copy of Ugin's Labyrinth. So hopefully they're just counting their mana to see if they can Promised End here off of the other lab. Maybe from hand. They don't have 13 mana, I'm sure. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I mean, if their last card was Kozak's Command, they should have just main phased it already. So it's probably not that. Good pickup. So if we find Titania off the Nissa trigger, winning should be pretty easy this turn. So let's just go ahead and see if that's what we find off the Nissa. I can't just get Craterhoof, can I? No. I cast Reef next. I was thinking about green setting for Titania first. Oh, there's a Titania. Perfect. I love decks like this where you just kind of like have to figure it out differently every single time. Keeps it real fresh. But now we can green sun for Sylvan Safekeeper and kind of execute the slightly more deterministic loop. Which I don't think we've actually done exactly this today. But for me, this was I was like, trying a few different builds. I was gold fishing, and then I just kind of stumbled into this. I'm like, oh, let's go. It works. Now we don't have our endurance anymore, so we'll have to be a little bit careful because of that. Probably cast that second Risen Reef once we get one more landfall trigger. It'd be very funny if we just didn't hit another land. Okay, they just packed it in. All right, 2040. So we can go turn 1 Arbor Flare, turn 2 Nantuko. Obviously Arbor Flare isn't... Wait, it's not even good. I always forget that. It's better if you green sun for it because you're at least accelerating. Okay, now I've got something to accelerate into, so it seems that Arbor Flare is going to be fine. Against a Bloodstained Mire, I'm not going to count on my Arbor to live. It might be a good endurance matchup too. Is what if it'll... Yeah, any green fetch land that's not Misty Rainforest is the same. You could even play Prismatic Vista. It should be fine. Your mana requirements are very easy, but you just want to play a lot of basics to like fetch them and trigger and stuff. And so it's kind of nice that this is like a ramp deck that's really resilient, like does not care about Blood Moon basically. Actually, maybe it does. Maybe turning off fetch lands is kind of a pain. Damn it, Blood Moon. Have you ever considered main deck Collector Ouphe? I've considered it. I know like Dingo likes main deck Collector Ouphe so much he'll main deck it in a deck with 4 Agatha's Soul Cauldron. But it says, hey, got to go, sorry. We're 3-0! Let's go! Trophy prediction? Trophy prediction? Let's wait for them to actually concede. Is incubation top 5? Oh, it is top 5. I thought it was top 3. Yeah, maybe it's better. Like, I do like the going rumble into like Nissa plus fetch land. Could be better. I also like that it puts it on the bottom. I'm definitely down to I'm definitely okay. Let's get a trophy prediction. I'm definitely down to test stuff like that today, because I think this deck is like a good early draft. Like, but yeah, rumble could be better. Incubation could do like a split of Chord of Calling. Chord of Calling's been pretty good. Like, we could do like 3 incubation, 2 Chord of Calling, something like that. Green Sun being unbanned is like really, you know, the key thing, and also it took me way too long to figure out the loop. This hand is hot. New matchup. Does Damping Sphere kind of hose me? Kind of. I mean, like, the extra spell thing is tough, but we can kill Damping Spheres. Is Cavern Souls worth adding? I think it's very hard to cut a fetch land or cut a fetchable. Like, fetch lands are so valuable, fetchables are so valuable, so I think it's very tough. It's gonna be very hard to sell me on any utility land. Can this hand win turn 2? No. We also can't Nissa trigger because we had to put the fetch land into play, so a little bit of awkwardness there, I guess. Obviously a good opener. Okay, our matchup against Affinity has got to be insane. We've got 4 Force of Vigors and Collector Ouphe, and we're probably just good against them game 1. They have a Rebuke up, so we'll just like trade for the Rebuke here. They have a Rebuke up, so we'll trade for the Rebuke here. Maybe. Take a backup Nissa, I guess. I think the fastest you can win is turn 3. I had some turn 3 goldfishes yesterday. I haven't put Springheart on a Dryad Arbor. I need to kind of understand exactly what you can do with that, like realistically, but it does seem kind of interesting. Is Affinity still bad? Yeah, Affinity is playable. At the moment, it seems like everyone is determined to play like the aggro builds, which I think are worse than like the Urza counterspell builds I've been playing. I think the Urza counterspell build has seemed quite good to me, and I would recommend that if you want a Mox Opal Affinity style deck. Right, there we go. It's just infinite landfall triggers, Lotus Cobra plus Nissa. Yeah, I know. It just does it really just not do anything else beyond that? Maybe it doesn't. Okay, we can take the extra fetch land since they're probably not gonna be able to kill my Nissa. We can pay for Metallic Rebuke via the spawn token. They must have Kappa. I'm sure they have Kappa Cannoneer in their deck. Yeah. But yeah, you also get to play Sink into the Stupor in that build. I think that build is great. And if you want to play a Mox Opal deck, that is the deck you get to play like so much interaction, so much card draw, so much acceleration. That deck's sick, I think. There we go. Non-zero amount of times bestowing Dryad Arbor is the line. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Okay, and an Opal, 2 Ornithopters in the yard. They also have this Mishra's Bauble they can start looping. Single with Shifting Woodlands main. Again, I will say this a couple more times and I'll stop responding to this question probably, but you need fetches and fetchables. That's the magic formula in this kind of deck. A bunch of fetches and a bunch of fetchables. They are so much more valuable than like any utility land. They're kind of just utility lands themselves. So I'm just not that interested in utility lands. And then I'll maybe I will repeat that in like 10 minutes. Okay. Can Chord for 2? I can Chord for 3 if I Grazer Landfall. Shout out to the gamer who suggested a main deck in Collector Ouphe. Boy, don't you feel smart. Thinking about writing an article. You talked about maybe writing it this year. Yeah, for I am writing again this year, but it is one of my goals to have a draft of a novel completed this year, and I'm making some good progress on that again. I'm not interested in writing magic articles anymore. They, in my experience, magic articles was the highest effort for the lowest output. I got like just, I would work harder on them than anything else, and I would get less compensation for it, and I would get less engagement with it than any other content I made. So it was not something. It's not something I want to get back into. No, unfortunately. You can Chord for 3 even though playing Grazy with the spawn. No, spawn. You can't tap and sack spawn for a Chord. Not the most intuitive, I know. What article am I most proud of? I have like 2 or 3 like deck builders toolkit articles talking about like how, like just kind of how to brew and like my thought process on brewing. Really like that one. And those are still over on, Channel Fireball. And like I kind of designed them to be like more eternal articles, I guess. So still something you can get out of those maybe. So I guess we go Green Sun for Titania, and then Chord for the 1/1. Sorry, I forgot the name somehow. Opponent's pretty dead. Martoni with the 32 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. There's our endurance. We'll probably just well, I guess I need to sack my lands first. Guess to keep creatures untapped for Craterhoof. I don't know. Shouldn't matter that much either way. Oh, probably should float a mana. It's okay. We'll have plenty of mana here in a second. Maybe Primeval Titan to add more landfall triggers. I think it's not that important for the loops. And I'm also not interested in playing utility lands. I just want fetches and fetchables. Sarah's bait, I see. Hard to tell sometimes. Alright, always yield to the Risen Reef triggers. Always yield. Always yield. What's the opponent doing? I mean, whenever anyone sees a new deck, and I know this all too well, whenever opponents play against new decks, they're not very likely to concede because they don't know what the hell's going on and they want to see it. Click 7 to auto stack the reefs. I mean, it's not really any different from me just clicking the box, right? And I maybe my action per minute is taking like a quarter second hit. I think we're gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm so glad this deck came together. It has been such a hard. I like it's been so close for so long, and it finally figured it out. Because we need 9 mana to Green Sun for Hoof. We'll definitely get there, but gonna be a little bit more time. The Chord of Calling's looking good. All right, there's our 9 mana. There's our Lotus Cobra. And we could, of course, just keep going. We could, like, just keep sacking these lands and, like, endurancing themselves and just going crazy. Could also just cast the Craterhoof. Yeah, I could also Chord for Hoof for, like, 0 mana in spots like this. So, yeah, Chord of Calling is looking better and better to me for sure. If they rebuke this, it'd be pretty funny. We would still win this turn by endurancing the Hoof back and casting it again. It would take forever, though. Yeah, I think minus 151 is still the lowest today. Minus 43. This deck is probably impossible to play in paper. You could do it. I believe in you. All right, gonna cut the Rumbles, gonna cut the Flare, Cobra. There's a chance it's easier than paper, I'm not sure. Whatever, consider a second Titania for safety. Well, the thing is you could just endurance it back in, and you also don't need Titania for the loop. It's not actually mandatory. Yeah, I could maybe Green Sun for Collector Ouphe turn 2. I have a lot of lands to draw into. Let's keep this hand. Deck needs Anger 100%. Well, the card isn't modern legal, so I would sure hate to cheat by putting an Anger into my deck. Wow, what a top deck. What about Cactus Folk Sure Shot to haste your elementals? I will read that card again. I feel like Craterhoof Behemoth is getting the job done. You know what I'm saying? It seems to be good, but you know, we can look at other options, of course. The 4 mana, it's also red cards. You have to play another color. Creatures with power 4 or greater gain trample to end of turn. That's cool. Well, wow, we just drew the Ouphe. Although my opponent does have Rebuke up here. So I guess we bait with Springheart Nantuko. They might Rebuke this. If they don't, we'll just Green Sun for mana. And then we can pay for Rebuke next turn. Yeah, it's very funny. Like, people always suggest Craterhoof, and I'm finally playing it. Now they want to play anything else. Hoof seems to be the best, I think. We've just gotten Hoof plenty of times, even when we're not, you know, deterministically comboing, so liking it so far. Yeah, Hoof is definitely better than Finale, I agree. What's the combo? So you basically loop your lands with Sylvan Safekeeper Endurance, with Risen Reef and Titania sometimes. There's like this kind of like rolling snowball of cards that can be part of this combo. And you don't need all of them, and the deck is just all ramping card draw kind of in that shell, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think I actually just cast the Ouphe. I want to be able to go Nissa fetch land. And then this maybe just turns off the Rebuke, because I guess they have the Glimmer Void still. But maybe they'll like sack the Lantern and we can resolve the Nissa this turn. So they didn't sack the Bauble. Does this mean they have a counterspell in their hand? I guess it could mean that. It's a removal spell. We did get Portable Hold last game. Do I play my land so that... Yeah, I guess I play my land so that I can pay for Rebuke on this. Yeah, I think we keep it for just, improvise in general. Affinity. Ooh, I've been needled. They named Sylvan Safekeeper, okay, instead of the Misty Rainforest. It was nice of them. Yeah, Whip Flare would be pretty good here. Why would you have to splash in order to cast a payoff creature in the deck? Wouldn't you be able to make whichever colors Landfall triggers Chord of Calling? If I have a red spell in my deck, I'm going to play a red land. I think you're overthinking it. All right, I think now that they're tapped out, we'll keep this up to trigger the Nissa, so I could just draw a land. So I drew Titania. Yeah, well, the problem with just casting Hoof is they have Rebuke in their hand, so I can go Titania though and be able to pay. Although maybe they're just tapped out of it now. You have to draw a land for just a hardcast Hoof. We're the bad matchups. So far, we got wrecked by Rakdos Burn with Rakdos Charm. That card was insane against us. Very annoying card to run into. What was the recent Opal deck really like? I have a mono blue Urza build that I think is just very good, and I would recommend it. Although, if this deck ends up becoming popular, which it's too early to say that, but if it does, Opal decks probably go away for a while. Yeah, they got no mana available. Just play Craterhoof. I don't think I would play 6. I'm a big 6 fan, you know, like I feel like I play 6 more than like anybody else in Modern, but I don't really see a reason to like Green Sun for 6 over Green Sun for Risen Reef or Nissa. So to me, that's enough of a reason to not play it. I did think about an Aftermath Analyst angle. My earliest drafts 5 or 6 minutes ago were very in on it. I think we don't need it in this build, nor do I think it would be optimal. Mardu probably. See how this matchup goes. Probably not great. If I see a fetch land off the... I guess I will put it into play. Can't really say no to that either. What's with all the excitement? Excitement at my Twitch stream? What's with this? That's not why I come here. I mean, we're 4-0. Is that exciting? I don't know. The deck's been looking good. Is this Velia? Raven Charm. Okay. About the best possible for us here. Why the excitement? What a question. So let's not put that onto play tap, so we can do it untapped here, then Bestow and Green Stuff for Grazer. I mean, I can't do all of that here. Grazer also doesn't conjure a land and put it into play. I have no land here. How consistent do you feel the deck? I think it wins on turn 4 really consistently. You have a lot of card selection and tutors. I don't know exactly how it's going to play against Bardu Energy or Demir, and so we're going to test that now here for the 5-0. Not trying to be negative. I'm just teasing you. I agree. I mean, I feel like this is an exciting thing, though. So they're going after the Nantuko. Do they have a Bowmaster? The Raven Charm makes it more likely that they're... Or Windswept Heath makes it more likely that they're just Boros instead. So if I draw a land, maybe I Green Sun Zenith for Titania. If I draw a fetch land, I could also get Nissa, maybe. And then, like, double Green Sun this turn. Okay, so we drew a fetch land. So at Green Sun Zenith for Nissa is kind of what I'm instinctually drawn to. Yeah, let's do that. I might get Sylvan Safekeeper off the second green sun. If I hit another reef off this Nissa trigger, then I can just cast that reef and then get like find one land off of it, green sun for Safekeeper. Instead I find another Nissa, so let's just green sun for second reef. Third reef, technically, I guess. Well, not the best hits. Not the best. They go down to 0 energy here, 4 cards in their hand. I realize Yavimaya has a lot of Yavimaya suggestions. I'm just not really interested in playing it over a basic forest. We need fetches and fetchables. I think you're not going to be saving fetch lands realistically all that often. Bombardment is going to be tough to beat. Where do you go with here from this hand? It's going to depend heavily on what the top of our library is, for sure. If only, I guess maybe getting the Sylvan Safekeeper was the better line. No, I would not play it. I at the moment would not play any utility land over another fetch land, and I would not play another fetch land over another fetchable. I think a fetch land is just better than any utility land you could suggest, and I think we're maxed out on fetch lands. Yeah, Growth Chamber would be something like maybe better than any of the suggestions, but fetches and fetchables, not that complicated, I think. Okay, they Graveyard of Blood Moon. They've left me with the Risen Reef for now. If I draw a Springheart Nantuko, I could maybe kill the Ajani, although they could sack the Guide of Souls, although that could be okay. I've drawn a Flare of Cultivation. I don't really want to sack a Grazer, because Grazer's kind of just like gain 3 life here in a pretty critical way, so I'm gonna sack the Arbor, I think. Is Heath really better than Vista? I have a Breeding Pool and I have a Hedge Maze. Certainly not a debate I want to get into, but I think the answer is a resounding yes. If you disagree, I encourage you to build the deck in a way you think is better. Do you ever just play 3 mana for Flare? Sometimes, I think not in this spot. This is insane. Just, hey, here's an action spell in your hand. Oh, you need mana for that action spell? I got you. I'm also going to give you a lot of mana. Alright, so they kill my Risen Reef, having to sack the Guide of Souls to do so. Not really much reason to hold the Grazers. I guess, yeah, at this point, not really. Don't have another Surveil land. We could maybe play a second Surveil land, but because that's a fetchable. They still have 1 energy in the pool. Can I Green Sun for Craterhoof off the top? I could only do that if I don't crack my Windswept Heath. Seems unlikely. I mean, Green Sun will still be a good top deck, right? So going after Titania, so we're going to crack the fetch, get our 5/3. And they deal 1 damage to the Nissa so that they can sack their cat token to kill the Nissa. I would love to top deck Craterhoof. If I draw Green Sun, I guess we're getting like Endurance. They have 1 card in their hand. Hopefully it's not a good one. Yeah, this has been a banger week this week. We had the Restore Balance Lantern Control deck on Monday. We were like 7-3 with Aetherworks Marvel yesterday. And today we've got this abomination. Well, another drawing 3 Grazers at this point in the game, basically back to back to back, has not been ideal. And then they get to escape a Flage, so unfortunate. Yeah, Safekeeper seems great. Maybe with more matchup experience, I would just I should have just Green Sun for that instead of the second Reef. That could have been good. A good week for the Brews, though. We do get our Nantuko back, but they maybe will kill that with Uro. Sorry, Flage. We also did know about Bombardment. Yeah, we could have played around it. Yeah, Uro would be bananas. And this is what I'm talking about to all the let's unban Uro gamers. Y'all are so silly. Uro would be like, I think Uro would be the best card in Modern. I think it's that much better than Flage. I think it works so insanely with like you can go Uro, put a land into play, Consign on turn 2, and use an Uro in play. You can mill it over with Rumble, and like it would just be so insane. Okay. Well, I guess I could go Bestow here, and then I could block the Flage. Yes, this deck is tentatively called Nautilus Nadu. Plays pretty similarly, weirdly enough. Dead. Very dead. Down a game. Not sure how I want to sideboard. That was close. Honestly, like the fact that we just ripped 3 Grazers was brutal. But you're going to flood sometimes in your ramp decks. I want to play like 1 Force in the Fungus. Let's try this. What are consigns for? Eldrazi is very good and very popular at the moment. Comes in some other spots like Cascade decks too. Let's give this one a try. Yeah, probably just gonna sack the Fungus, I guess. No Endurance? Yeah, I'm not playing Endurance in this deck. Or do you mean just board it in? I don't know. Would you have boarded in more copies of Endurance? Because is Endurance like really good against Boros? I that's something I just don't know. I don't know if you want more copies. Is this my new office setup? It's been this way since 2 years. It is for the time being because I'm gonna redo my upstairs, but it is in theory temporary. So I have the Force of Vigor for that, which is nice. It could be good to just try to Endurance block this Guide of Souls next turn. And now next turn I can go Greensun for Nissa and play a fetch land. Maybe sideboard a few Beseiju. Is the matchup really good pre-board or is it just lost cause? Eldrazi? We were 2-0 against it today. If you're talking about Beseiju for this matchup, I don't know. This matchup seems tough. We could maybe figure out a plan. And maybe this matchup's just going to be unfavorable, and maybe that's a good thing for the health of the modern metagame. It was pretty good. I'll also need to think about if I want to force the bombardment. I definitely don't want to do it now. Make a Flage worse. So when I said now, I meant like... I meant, like before blocks, but... Yeah, I think the thing is, if I'm going to go Greensun for Nissa, I want to be able to like also cast my Reef this turn. These Grazers. So backup Nissa, I guess. Can get in with the Endurance. How did they beat Nantuko and Endurance? Flage, probably. And Nantuko and Endurance could have been good. you know, we're still in like our 7th match with the deck or something. Oh, hi with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Three cards left over there. So gonna save this Nissa for a fetch land. I think we can still attack though. Grazer should be good against the aggro deck. I mean, it's not bad, but it was like, you know, we just have so many good top decks, and it wasn't one of them. Yeah, we can't cut Grazers because then our flares become worse, and we have like not as good nut draws. I would have pitched Green Sun Zenith and Nantuko. Wait, I would have pitched Green Sun Zenith and Nantuko Endurance there. Yeah, that might be right. I don't, have the most Nadu experience, so could be right. If I had to go to Modern Tournament, what are my top three decks? I would my top one is green-white Birthing Ritual. I'd be pretty interested also in the. I'd be pretty interested in also playing the Mono Blue Urza Mox Opal deck. I like that deck a lot. That might be number 2. And then maybe Green Red Woodlands is another deck I would really like to try. So they're going to Thraben Charm, exile my graveyard, or to kill my Titania. Okay. This makes sense. But now we can save the fetch land to get a Nissa trigger next turn. Yeah, I thought about 6. 6 is obviously a card I like a lot. I've played a lot of 6, but I think 6 is worse than Nissa and Risen Reef, so I think it doesn't make the cut, unfortunately. Yeah, 1 card in their hand. Hopefully it's not another removal spell. This Grazer ended up being pretty good, huh? Okay. Out of gas. Ooh, and I drew a Green Sun Zenith. Now, I've lost my Endurance, and I've lost my Titania, so we're not going to be able to just deterministically combo our opponent. Don't think this is a Dryad Arbor spot, but it could be. Juam with the Twitch Prime. Hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you so much. Welcome back. All right. Yeah, I want to be able to just draw land and then Green Sun for Craterhoof, but... Pass back for now. They're at 6, no cards in their hand. Get another... Oh, no 3rd Surveil land. I guess it's just Marty that plays 3 Surveil lands. Alright, pretty good. Could Green Sun for Dryad Arbor? Why would you want to do that? Thoughts on second Titania? I don't think I want to play a second Titania. You can Endurance it back sometimes, and you don't need it to combo kill. I had more copies in earlier drafts. I've been working on this deck for 6 months. I decided not to play it. They do kill the Nissa. So now I have 7 mana, which means killing them with Green Sun is going to be a challenge. Guess I also don't have enough... If you had Green Sun for Dryad, you could trigger the Reef. Did I have enough mana to do that, though? I guess I did actually have enough mana, huh? Well, now I'm going to Green Sun for Dryad Arbor, because... this is like a Risen Reef plus a mana for this Craterhoof next turn. Can we survive, though? Probably can if they don't top deck too well. So we haven't played a land for turn, so I think we do this. This way we can play a Grazer this turn and put another land into play, maybe. I would have had enough mana from this to create another Reef. Okay, cool. I guess we should have done that. Obviously, this deck is complicated, and it's going to take some time to pilot it expertly. Okay, your turn. So I'm at 10 life points. My opponent has 5 creatures in play, so they can put me to 4 with a Najani, which means I'm not dead to Bolt, I'm not dead to Flage. I'm dead to Goblin Bombardment. Maybe Spyro into something. Do we ever swing here? Of course not. We're just trying to survive and cast Hoof next turn. They do target me. I'm at 4 life now. I'm not trying to get more landfall triggers here. And they're dead to this. Okay, game 2 in the books. Still have a chance to trophy this league. On the draw, it's going to be difficult. I like the one of Force of Vigor. I think on the draw, maybe I'll play the second one over the Fungus, because you just got to catch up sometimes. Honestly, Endurance was just pretty good, just as a card, so... Let's try cutting the Rumbles for Endurances. I don't know if this will be good, but we've got to try out our sideboard plans. Let's go. I feel like this is a very Fran deck. Let's just have Grazer into Flare into Nissa. There's a couple Flares. So if I were to keep this hand, I could cast a 3-drop on turn 2, but I would lose my Sylvan Safekeeper. Maybe I could Endurance it back into my deck. I think I just have to keep a hand like this, probably. Endurance Nantuko is very good. Okay, good feedback. All the Nadu gamers. Do you fetch Arbor for Cultivation? I don't think so. Because I can't cast a 3-drop turn 2 if I do that. And this hand seems like I want to cast a 3-drop on turn 2. Have we finally broken Flare of Cultivation? Hopefully. It's pretty nice to just not let them use their mana on a removal spell this turn. So I think I'm going to go for the Endurance. I also want to shuffle my cards back in. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't go for the... Didn't go for the green Zenith somehow. I almost like casting Flare there. I almost like it too. They never attack into the Endurance. I'm trying to play as fast as possible to make it seem like I don't have it, but you know, obviously I have it, and no fooling them here. Yeah, I'm okay with, you know, my green Sun Zeniths are turned off. That's not that big a deal, I think. So what are we doing here? I almost like just hard cast Flare. Yeah, I'm gonna cast the Reef instead, but I almost like just hard casting Flare here. Yeah, I could go Grazer, Flare into Reef. But the thing is, the Grazer is just gonna be, I feel like, maybe good as a blocker and come up the board. Way more real now that Ring is banned. Uh-oh. Imagine flipping Dryad Arbor free for the Containment Priest. Oh no. A nightmare. They got 2 cards left. Fetch land is huge. Let's not get Dryad Arbor. So backup Nissa is not so bad. A little bit risky because now they know they want to kill this, but I think I need to use my mana this turn. I'm not going to use the Flare yet because I want to be able to use the Flare to trigger Nissa next turn. Great game. Couldn't you hardcast Flare, then just cast Grazer? I mean, I could have. I felt like the casting Reef was a better line. I considered it. Not sure I was correct. Okay, so Static Prison going on the Endurance. They have basically 3 non-flash cards with this Heath. Am I chumping with the Grazer? Probably not this turn. I don't think I need to be in a rush to do that. Especially because I might want to sack it to Flare, obviously. Okay, one card in their hand. I also have boarded in more Endurances, so I maybe could find one off the Nissa. Okay, so let's go and make a 1/1. Remember, this is I can't use the Green Sun with the Containment Priest out there. But obviously I want to crack my fetch land after this Titania enters. So I did find another Endurance. I can trigger this again next turn with the Flare, so I could, can somewhat comfortably just cast an Endurance here. Maybe Surveil end of turn. Great game. Could have triggered this on their turn. Yeah, we could have, but I feel like this was better. I think. Could have been wrong. If you cast Endurance and upkeep, can't you get another double trigger? I guess for some reason I was thinking I couldn't also cast Endurance. If I could have also cast Endurance, I should have. Okay, I'm going to jump with the Grazer this time. If Dryad Arbor token dies, you get Titania trigger. Yeah, but we can't fetch for Dryad Arbor with the Containment Priest out there. So one card in their hand, out of Surveil lands. They have Guide Pride, which is good, but I think I'm gonna be ahead probably because I just have a lot of dig with the Nissa and I have a lot of good top decks. Although maybe the Containment Priest turning off Green Sun makes that not the case. Sorry, they lost the Static Prison? When did that happen? I guess it happened on the Nantuko a while ago. For some reason, that didn't register to me that happened. Oh, the Containment Priest Static Prison combo. Wait, how long ago did that happen? So wait, what the Endurance is next out, right? Okay. Sorry, complicated game. Okay, hopefully find a Risen Reef. Another copy of Endurance. Okay, so we can attack with... I'm probably chumping with Endurances. Guess I don't want them to triple block Titania. So if they if they pump their Guide of Pride again, which they probably will want to, a double block doesn't do it, unfortunately. They know about the Endurance also. What I'm probably going to do is upkeep fetch my Surveil land here, and then maybe if I find another land, I can trigger the Nissa. Yeah. Just gonna block. Not gonna play the Endurance this turn because it's a Risen Reef trigger. Yeah, Pride also has first strike, of course. Good point. Didn't seem like they top deck anything super serious. It'd be really sad if I see Craterhoof Behemoth on top and I got my tap land and I can't cast it this turn. I guess I won't be sad because I'll just win the game next turn, but it'd be funny. This Containment Priest has been surprisingly good. Pretty cool. Well, called shot, I guess. Because this is my upkeep, so I don't get to use this mana. Let's keep it on top. Why didn't you do that in step? So I needed to do it in upkeep because if I found any land, I could trigger the Nissa and find a Risen Reef and co-off and win the game. I'll say it twice next time. Do we have enough damage? Of course we do. Not enough damage? We have like 200. What are you talking about? 200 trample. It's exponential damage. What is this? 4 mana, 5 mana, stop! 6 mana, stop! Stop, what the fuck is this? It might be Fear Fire Foes, which kills my insect tokens, which maybe means I won't have lethal anymore. It is Fear Fire Foes. Devastating. Yeah, now I think it's not enough damage. We have 38 trample. Okay, well that's not enough because of the Ocelot Pride. However, they have now allowed me to kill their Containment Priest. So I think we shuffle the Titania back in the deck. So I have to block here. And then I trade here. Eat this. Eat this. Last card is Backup Priest. It honestly could be, which is kind of a bummer. Okay, so it's a tap Sacred Foundry. What a game. I think they knew about the Endurance too and forgot. Okay, so that's a good way to start. So I guess I need to calculate is if I just get Springheart Nantuko. No, Nantuko with only 3 attacking creatures, it shouldn't be 45 damage. Not blocking Pride wasn't lethal. I mean, it lets me block Pride next turn and survive, because I feel like there's a good chance that's going to be my line. Guess we get the Dryad Arbor now. Uh-oh, another Nissa, so it's a problem. I don't have enough to... If I go Green Sun for Titania, I won't be able to... Yeah. Do I have to get Reef? Reef and Hope? Cast Nissa, Green Sun for Titania. I have more Endurances, yeah. I think like getting a Reach creature to block this turn feels a little bit tough. So if I go Nissa and the Green Sun for Titania, I get to reset the Nissa and I could find another Endurance or I could find another Reef, but then Endurance feels like it's just a losing line, I agree. I could try to hit... I have several hits I could get off the Green Sun. We need 7 blockers to win. They have 8. No, we don't need that many. Attack with Nissa first. Well, I don't think so. This is such a hard, unbelievably difficult turn. I think I have to get Reef. This to me feels like the line that's playing to win. I've already played my land for turn. We're dead. Kind of an unbelievable, heartbreaking match. Us having the Craterhoof and them having Fear Fire Foes was just so unbelievable there. And then we're even still in pretty good shape to win, but our draws were not super kind to us. Breaking on Nissa again. I have played land, yeah, so we're dead here, I think. Otherwise, yeah, I could get a respin with the Nissa. Can always Force of Vigor on their turn to get the Elementals with bosses. I don't know what that means. Tough game. Very tough game, but a very exciting brew. Killed us with 2 1-drops. It was the Fear Fire Foes. Why did we not Titania into Green Sun for Reef? So that leaves us with like not that much mana after that, right? So we go Titania into Green Sun for Reef. We have 0 mana or 1 mana if we hit a land, and we have no avenue to victory after that, right? We're just completely dead. Although maybe Titania into Green Sun for Endurance was good, and then we could get the